Between 2003 and 2006, more than 2,500 children were sent to a juvenile detention facility. They were committed under a no-tolerance policy, and over 50% lacked legal representation. These children's crimes were nothing more than underage drinking or fighting in school. Even one was creating a fake MySpace account. The worst part is that the owners of the private juvenile detention facility paid the judges to have a steady flow of children into their facilities. Each kid means more cash for the judges and more profitability for the juvenile detention facilities. The use of private prisons in America was made to manage the high volume of prisoners as well as remain cost-effective when housing them. But private prisons don't do this. The use of private prisons in America is both immoral and counterproductive to the goals of rehabilitation. My main points include that private prisons cut costs around safety for both the inmates and correctional officers. Private prisons have not been proven to cut costs at all compared to the government facility counterparts, and private prisons lobby to keep in place laws that maintain mass incarceration. First, private prisons operate like a business, where profitability means more prisoners, and cutting costs is related to correctional officers. The Times magazine shows that private prisons lower wages for correctional officers and reduce the hours of training they're required to do. Both of these increase the safety risks for both the inmates and the correctional officers. And the Department of Justice shows that private prisons have 28% higher inmate-on-inmate assaults, twice as many inmate-on-staff assaults, and twice as many illicit weapons found. So private prisons are not more safe, nor are they safe for the inmates and the correctional officers. Second, research does not prove that private prisons are more cost-effective than their government counterparts. A research done in Arizona shows that private prisons are only slightly less costly than government prisons because they refuse to take the sickest inmates. When they refuse to take these sickest inmates, which are more costly, they go to the government facilities, which then the taxpayers have to pay for. And a study done by this Arizona state government shows that private prisons, the prisoners in them cost $1,600 more per year than the government facilities. Lastly, private prisons lobby to keep in place laws that exacerbate mass incarceration. The Justice Policy Institute shows that the Corrections Corporation of America, America's largest private prison company, has spent $1.9 million on political contributions and $17.4 million on lobbying efforts. One of these lobbying efforts includes lobbying to stop immigration reform. So instead of 11 million people gaining their citizenship, these 11 million people are being funneled into the private prisons, increasing their profitability. This is extremely amoral, for these citizens should be considered citizens. Instead, they are being funneled for profitability. In conclusion, my 3 points and the Cash for Kids scandal shows that private prisons have a disregard for prisoners as human beings and instead only sees them as a way to maintain their profitability. Private prisons are run like a business. They are not proven to be more cost-effective, and the lobbying efforts by them increases the problem instead of solves it. Instead, the solution should be to fund rehabilitation efforts, such as mental health help or drug rehabilitation. And we should lessen the required sentences for nonviolent crimes, such as drug use. These would reduce the volume of prisoners and reduce the time that they're required to be in the prisons, therefore stopping the government's need to contract these private prisons, as well as bring prisons back to the goal of rehabilitation for these inmates. Thank you.